The following Film Room episode is brought to you by NFL Game Pass. Make sure to get to gamepass.nfl.com/packages to get the complimentary access to Game Pass. It's free to everyone until May 31st, 2020. A lot of what we do on a daily basis as far as content creation is a lot of it comes from NFL Game Pass. So make sure to support them. Go ahead and take a look at it. Dive into some of the NFL originals, the film sessions. Obviously, you can go watch the coaching film, which is something that we use a lot. And you guys know about the coach's film. During the season, we use it a ton. But go ahead and play around with it for the next month or so. So get to gamepass.nfl.com and subscribe for the season. All right, so again, guys, this is going to be basically all the offensive plays. It's not going to be any of the defensive plays. We can do that another night if you guys want. Now I remember this play. This was the throw to Knox at the top of the screen here. And honestly, I don't know if you remember this, Nate, but this little 3 wide receiver combination to the top here scared the shit out of me. Why? Because you see Joe Hayden squatting right here, watching Allen as he throws to Knox, and you'll see from the end zone angle, Hayden is obviously staring him down, but Allen's staring Knox down. This was a tight throw and a good throw to the back shoulder, but it's one that really scared me.
Like probably 4 years ago, Joe Hayden probably is picking that. 3 years, even maybe 3 years ago, yeah. But the kid's got a wicked pissa, Sometimes there are very few quarterbacks that would even actually try that throw, but he did telegraph it a little bit. I mean, when Joe Hayden at this point in his career is kind of living off of being able to read quarterbacks' eyes, and if you're going to let him get an opportunity there, you better be careful. You better put it exactly on the money. You better put it on the numbers. I mean, he does. But there are 4 primary defenders immediately around him.
Yeah, and you see the throw again. It's more of to his back shoulder where he can spin.
10-yard line. That's a cocky throw, man. I mean, that's a 10-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if they started the game off like that with a pick 6. That would have been bad. But good throw either way. That's what Josh Allen's arm strength will get you. He'll throw it late. He'll throw it as he stares a guy down, but he'll somehow fit it in that window. Here's a play action pass from a nasty alignment from the top is John Brown coming across the middle. I really like this throw from the end zone angle.
I love the play design.
Yeah, it's really nice, man.
It's a beautiful play action. The Quentin Spain pull really, really opens this up for John Brown on this backside.
Yeah, I know this is right out of the Patriots playbook. It's called, I think, 134 Magic Z or something like that.
It's a McDaniel special for sure.
Yeah, it is. I mean, obviously those false keys with Spain coming across the formation, but watch Josh Allen's footwork, because as he fakes it, now he's turning, and he's about to get smacked in the mouth, it looks like, right there. And once I go back and let it roll in real time, watch how quickly he sets and throws this to John Brown, and the throw is on the money. And see, this is, I guess I'll address it afterwards, but watch how quickly he sets this and throws it. I mean, he's not even following through. Yeah,
that's like a golf shot. Like if you're trying to do a little puncher real quick, you're getting the ball out. And the interesting thing too is, I mean, this is what Brady and the Patriots lived on. This was, we're going to take the 6 yards you're going to give us, and we're going to nickel and dime you down the field, 13, 14 plays. And we're going to have our running back leaking out on a very similar look to this, and sort of build on just this base play action play. But yeah, this play is meant to be a quick hitter. And of course, I mean, the pressure in his face forces his hand a little bit for it to be a quick hitter, but it should come out on that third step anyways, especially once he turns back around. But you're right. I mean, he develops his base so well. And delivers an accurate ball. And again, these are the kind of throws that you would typically find on film where you could criticize Josh and say, hey, this throw was inaccurate. It was incomplete. It was at the wide receiver's feet, but it's a pretty accurately thrown ball considering the cloudiness in his face, and kind of, it's almost like a half throw. It's like a gorilla, or not a gorilla, alligator armed it,
Yeah, no, and I like that. He doesn't have his base. You see that back foot. He's not able to follow through. And if he does, maybe that gets hit by the defensive lineman there. And this is tough on Morse because he's trying to down block. All right, he's trying to down block on basically, it's a 3-tech, but it's more of a 4-eye. This is a long way for a guy to down block. And you're going against Hayward too.
It's a good player,
yeah, man. I mean, look how quickly he gets out of his stance there. That's tough. He gets a piece of him as much as he can. And I mean, there's really nothing else he can do. Either way, good play by Josh and, getting at the Brown. But the other thing I want to talk about real quick is, a guy catches it, it's a decent location, decent placement. But you like to have receivers that can not just break a tackle, but get some yards after the catch, right? I mean, that's something that this offense is really missing. When Josh hits these kind of passes where he's off platform and he bails himself out for once and not having a receiver bail him out, you'd like to have that receiver do something with it after the catch, especially in this 0 to 9 range.
Yeah, neither guy last year had a particularly good season after the catch, and I think that's one of the reasons why, I look at a guy and in my first mock draft, I mocked the Bills' KJ Hamler, and it's kind of like, I get that people might look at it and say, well, that's John Brown, or you have small receivers, you have the Smurf guys, but I think they still really lack that one player offensively that like could take a jet sweep, and it's Isaiah McKenzie, right? I mean, that's the guy, but at the end of the day, he still has a little bit of limitations, that I think they want a player like that, and especially in this kind of offense. They don't have that. They don't have a guy right now where when the ball's in his hands, he can make guys miss. And even Diggs to a certain extent. I mean, he is a legitimate number one wide receiver, but I'm not expecting them to just start, throwing out slot screens to him and asking him to make 2 or 3 defenders miss. I mean, that he can make guys miss. It's just not his game to be, with the ball in his hands like a Hamler or I guess I don't want to say Tavon Austin, but a similar type player like that. This offense really doesn't have that.
No, definitely not. And so, I mean, Gore's in now. It's 21 personnel. It's 2nd and 3. And if we do a head count with this 21 personnel, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Par for the course for Gore last season, right, Nate?
Every time he was on the field, I mean, 3 out of 4 times they were running the football when he's on the field. So why wouldn't you if you're a defense?
Yeah, and this is just it's basically like a counter tray. You're having Spain pull to the field here. You have DeMarco kind of start off to the offense's left and then bend it back. But this is why the Bills need a guy, that can run between the tackles, because you see the kick out by Spain right there and Watt, and it's good. He covers him up, he bear hugs him. And this is a tight space that the running back's going to have to operate in when they want to get to 2nd, 3rd, and 4th and short. Second and short is really one of those downs that analytics is going to tell you, take your shot, go for a big play, because you're going to be in 3rd and short anyways. But last year, the Bills were kind of conservative in that nature, and they ran plays like this. And sometimes it left them at 3rd and short, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2.
They also ran the ball a lot. They were predictable on first down. They ran the ball more than just about anybody in football last year on first down. And it just becomes a trend, especially when Frank Gore's on the field for every first down.
Yeah, and I like the down block right here by Smith. See him down block, wipe him out, and Bush, the linebacker Bush, is in the hole immediately. And DeMarco digs him out. Good contact, and you see him wall him off right there. But Gore is fighting for his life, and he gets a few yards. But that's the type of running back they need. They need a running back that can run good between the tackles. And if he can hit a home run between the tackles, that'll be even better, to be honest. And this is one of their patented swing screens. It's basically a screen. It's one-on-one to the top here, and they're swinging it to Singletary, and it's just blocked by Watt. I mean, what you'd like to see happen is that tackle get a good piece of Watt to get him down, cut him down right there. Does a decent job, but Watt is such an athlete that while Cody Ford goes for the roll right there, but he keeps his feet and is able to extend and knock it down.
Yeah, he's sick. I mean, Bush is right there, but he's disgusting. He's just another cut off the Watt block there, man. He is turned into one of the premier pass rushers in football. That's and listen, I mean, every time they play a team with JJ or TJ Watt on it, it's like I hold my breath every time I watch them throw the football towards their side, like around the line of scrimmage. You're just always around the football.
Yeah, and I mean, talking about Watt, they're obviously trying to lure him in here on a screen, something that the Bills have been terrible at. We'll look at it from the tight camera angle. I mean, I don't know what it is about Allen and throwing these screens. He's looking to his left here, he's trying to sell it, but it just does not set up well. Singletary gets picked off by, I think that's what's his name, Mark Barron, and then Bush is coming in hot. 55's coming in hot. This is not setting up either way. It's red from the get-go. And I mean, they get Watt upfield, but he's still pretty disruptive on that play. I don't know what it is about the screens. Nate, you have a theory on why they're so bad at screens?
They're really bad at them. I think they finally, was it week 16 that they finally had their first real successful
Redskins?
screenplay? Yeah, well, yeah, Redskins. Okay, that was a little earlier, but it took them a good portion of the season to put together and piece together a successful screenplay. They just, again, part of it is Frank Gore is not great at in the screen game. He's not a guy that you're looking to get in the open field anyway. So it's I prefer the screen out of shotgun more than I do out of I formation or from a single back set, but they can run it. It's just they have not been able to execute it at all. That's a portion of their game. We talked about it, I know, going into last year, doing film breakdowns, how it's just, especially early in games, how important it is to get Allen on just kind of inject some sort of confidence into his game early on.
And jumpstart the offense altogether.
Right. You know? And in general, those are easy yards. Brady makes, 25, 30% of his yards are going to come on short screen plays, things around the line of scrimmage, and Josh doesn't get those yards. So, help him out a little bit, but I mean, he's got to help himself. He's got to sell it a little bit better himself. It's just, people act as if the screenplay is such a simple thing because of what you're actually trying to accomplish. It's so hard to set up. Your offensive line really all has to be on the same page, and the quarterback's got to sell it. It just becomes difficult to do, and you're pinning the defense's aggressiveness against themselves. And if you have a defense that just isn't buying it, it can be really tough.
Yeah, and I like moving on to this play. So they're in their empty sets, third and medium. And you see Josh come back up to the line of scrimmage, and I think what he sees is obviously it's man coverage, right? So he sees man coverage, but the question is, who's coming? What four guys are rushing, right? Because they're kind of making it a little muddy in here. Who's coming here? But I think he has a good idea that Bud Dupree right here, who's over Singletary, is definitely coming. He's not going to be covering Singletary, and if he is, that's a mismatch altogether. But what ends up happening on the snap is you see Dupree does rush, and the linebacker that was in the middle of the field has to work all the way over the top in man coverage to go ahead and get Singletary at the bottom there. And so, Josh diagnosed it properly. He got the one-on-one he wanted, but then you see the throw. It's just he lobs it way too high, and it gives that linebacker, who's obviously a hell of an athlete, in Mark Barron. He's a speedy linebacker. Almost, I think, he's a former safety, right? I mean, he's fast. He can get out there, and he's able to go ahead and make the tackle on third and medium when they had the green. You just got to make this throw a little more accurate.
Yeah, you have to force the running back to climb, and he has to bail back towards the line of scrimmage, and it just ends up being a play. Even if he makes a spectacular play here, at the end of the day, you need your quarterback to make the throw closer to the line. You need to lead him to the sticks, and unfortunately, you mentioned it. It's just it was just kind of a brain fart, in my opinion, on lack of understanding on that play. You just don't want the loft throw. That just gives a good linebacker time to close the gap.
Yeah, and go ahead.
That footwork is atrocious. He should plant that back foot and drive off it once he sees him come open.
Yeah, that's a good point. You see, he's parallel, right? He's basically going this way towards the sideline. His feet aren't proper here. And we know when he's throwing short to left to the right, yeah, it's always gonna be dicey, man. Even just on regular wide receiver screens, that's always been his bugaboo.
Especially to the left side. To the left side for sure. He has brain farts when he goes to the left. He'll throw those balls really accurate. Those leaking those running back leaks out to the right side. He'll throw those fine. But when he gets to the left side, he sort of just loses all of his mechanic. He just sort of free balls those lefty ones for whatever reason. It's on the left side predominantly.
Yeah, and this is a common formation they use. They'll put Brown and Beasley, usually Beasley down here, and they'll put Singletary to that side as well. And they run their RPO series. If you guys remember, I mean, Allen threw a lot of sidearm passes over the middle to Beasley on these RPOs. And so what teams did towards the end of the year is, okay, we're going to kind of coax them in to run it. Why? Because you're going to have 6 guys in the box here. This is a light box. So he's going to want it. He's going to think that, hey, we're going to run the ball. And he does hand it off here. Again, we don't know if it's actually predetermined or if he's actually reading someone. It looks to me like this is a predetermined power run. But then you see this safety come down and insert as that extra defender from death. And the reason teams did that in the second half of the year is not only to force them into a run, but it also made it difficult for the offensive linemen to identify who they needed to block because they never accounted for a safety that's 10 yards back. And you see, Singletary slides through there for, a few yards, but this one to me, I think it was more of a box read versus an actual conflict read. This was a handoff from the get-go with Spain pulling, trying to pull and kick out Watt. But I mean, look at Singletary, man. I don't know how he gets through here, to be honest. Like, how does he even see Bush, scraping over the top right here?
To be able to duck out of the way.
And he still ducked past him. Yeah, dude.
Falls
look
forward.
At him slide. Yeah, man.
Clinically falls forward at just no matter what. It's even when he loses yards, he's sort of mitigating the damage, always falling forward.
All right, so some more 21 personnel with Singletary in there, and this was just one of their comeback routes to the bottom there. And, I mean, this throw, it may look bad, but this is actually pretty good location based on how much separation there. I mean, there wasn't too much, and I like the low and outside throw, whether it was intended or not, Nate. I don't know. You can argue that. He probably was just winging this, but either way, it's a decent throw right at the sticks, low and outside. Yeah,
I mean, with the coverage and the leverage, that's where it has to be. I agree with you. It probably was just a chuck and go. I mean, he's got Hayward again right in his face. Hayward's what, 6'6", 6'7"? I mean, that is a blind shot throw. It's a good play by John Brown. But again, if he throws that at his chest, it's going to be a contested ball.
Yeah, and pretty good footwork from under center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And he's pretty much getting it out on time too. So that's good rhythm from under center. And like you said, he's throwing it right as Hayward is breaking free. I like that play. I like the location there. I mean, I wouldn't ding him for that throw. It's good location there.
He seemingly throws better to the left out from under center rather than going from the gun.
Most right-handed quarterbacks do.
Yeah, and that's something that if you watch his film at Wyoming, it was kind of, I want to say totally the opposite, but it was something that he always opened his hip a little too much and didn't transfer his weight properly, and it was always kind of all over the place.
It's not a hindrance anymore. That's why it's actually like it's helping his velocity rather than hurting it like it used to.
Yeah, and this one just looks like they're trying to get a little pump and go, like fake the screen and get up the field, but there was no one open, so he just kind of tucks and runs there, which isn't a bad decision on this play. Very similar to what they ran against the Vikings week 3 the year before. And yeah, he got a couple yards, not much though. Excuse me. 2nd and 8 now. All right, so this is something I talked about on Twitter the other day is the Bills loved running these condensed sets. Nate, remember all those breakdowns we did in 2018 on Allen? Those big throws, those deep crossers down the field, a lot of them came from these condensed formations. So the Bills came in last year and were like, hey, we're going to run a lot of these, but we're going to try to run some passes out of them too. So, at times they put Roberts in. That's Roberts coming across the formation. But teams were just not scared of, obviously, Allen throwing deep, and they weren't scared of the receivers overall. So all they did was man up. And then look at all the guys, within, 7 yards or so of the line of scrimmage. And the condensed set, everyone's in the box. So it kind of was self-defeating last year. And you see them try to run a little counter with a wide receiver insert, and it's shut down. Bush with a really nice tackle on Singletary.
You won't be doing that with Stephon Diggs on the field.
Yeah, and I mean, think about you got Diggs out there if you're not running as many condensed sets. But even if instead of Roberts, you have a guy that is a Gibson, Antonio Gibson, Lynn Bowden Jr., one of those gadget guys that can run these orbits and jet sweeps that, he can come across the formation, take an extra guy out of the box, or even hold this edge defender and just add, another dimension to this. That would definitely help when they want to go to these condensed sets.
Gadget, I'm pretty convinced that's a player archetype they're going to try to address. They need a gadgety player. They just need somebody that's dangerous with the ball in their hand. Like a guy that that can street ball a little. And I don't really love the term, but I guess at the end of the day, they just don't have a guy that when things break down can just make guys miss. They don't have a Shady anymore. You know, like they don't have a guy that you could just dump to and just, hey, go make a play on 3rd and 4, you know?
Yeah. And this way, this is just their typical spot snag concept. So you're going to have Beasley right here running a little curl spot concept. And you're going to have Knox just running a corner. But as you guys can see, who's wide open in the flats? Josh has to hit that. Josh has to hit Singletary right now in the flats. He sees that this guy is tight on number 1. This guy's got to work over the top of that disruption. He should be dumping it out to Singletary and let him do work. He doesn't, though, obviously. And instead, he tries going to Beasley over the middle. Look at it from the tight camera angle. And this is one I thought Beasley should have caught. This is, outside of structure, outside of play. But you see 98, Vinny, I think it's Vince Williams. He's spying Josh, and Josh knows that. So he's not going to just take off because he probably would have taken off by now. So they're still trying to play outside of structure here. And Beasley separates, and Josh hits him, but it's dropped by Beasley. Just one of 4 drops, I believe. What PFF had him down for? 4 drops total.
That was a tough one. Yeah, that you'd like to see him catch that one.
All right, so next play. So now we're back to 1st and 10. Ball's on the 40. Play action shot. This was not a pretty play. So you see the top of the screen. You have an outlet, tight end. Lee Smith, I know you don't really want to throw it to him, but he's open. If these guys aren't open, which it doesn't look like they're open, find your outlet. And I think he just waits a little too long and gets caught. I think that's Watt that got him, right?
In Josh's defense, it kind of looks like Quentin Spain out there. So it doesn't really look like a tight end. So looks like an offensive lineman. You know,
he's offensive tackle, basically.
Right, right. He's their swing tackle. I don't blame him.
I don't blame him.
Like, oh no. Shit, that's my tackle. Can't throw it over there.
No, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he'd be. He's probably the last guy for sure.
Last guy. I mean, any set, Lee Smith's usually the last guy, the last line of defense.
But again, I mean, this is not even a run. But look how many guys are in the box. It's the thing. You go to 12 personnel. You have a guy in Lee Smith that's known to be a blocker, not really a receiving threat. This defense is not scared, so they're going to stack the box with 8, and that's what Frank Gore dealt with all year. So, they did try running a lot of play actions, and they had some success with them, but they were, few and far between. And then just this one it's tough on Cody Ford because, he's getting a little help from Smith on the chip before he releases the flats there, but that only widens Watt. Mm-hmm. You can see Watt get the edge. He gets a soft corner there. And the punch by Cody is not good. It's right in the face mask. It's not effective. And now he's in chase mode, and there's just no way. And obviously Josh gets sacked by him and who's 94? Tyson Alualu, I believe that is.
Wow, former first-round pick. No, Cody Ford. I mean, what are you supposed to do? That's one of the premier edge defenders in football, and he springs off of Lee Smith. That almost helps him gain momentum to where he wants to be. So that's what are you supposed to do there? Ty and Secchi isn't making that play. Cody Ford isn't either.
Yeah, and Paul Alexander, one of the O-line coaches on Twitter, you definitely should follow. He always talks about, teams that chip with their running backs, it does more harm than good because it does screw up angles for the offensive lineman. This is one of those plays. That little disruption by Smith obviously screwed up the angles for Ford, and he was trying to be aggressive,
That's one where I wanted to, when Quentin Spain was like, I didn't give up any sacks. I was like, that one sure looked like it might have. It was close calls, couple close calls.
Okay, so this is a play I posted on Twitter earlier today. Just a deep dig route. This is their dagger concept off of play action here. Now watch Josh Allen. Watch him get to the top of drop. He's delivering it now. Look where John Brown is to the bottom of the screen. He's barely breaking right now. This is pretty good anticipation by Allen. Good, strong throw here in traffic. I mean, there's 3 guys converging, and you'd like to see John Brown pick this up. But again, he kind of alligator arms it here, and he should be. I mean, he had more than enough time to get his body in better position there to catch that. What's your thoughts on this play, Nate? If you want to see it from the end zone angle.
Yeah, but I mean, again, I sort of keep thinking about Stephon Diggs in that situation, and
he's not pussing out there. He's not.
No, and again, that is a heck of a throw with a large ass defender right in his face. I mean, that's a big boy throw in a big boy window. That's as good as it gets right there. You want John Brown to make that play. John Brown, a couple of times. I mean, this is a tough drop. We know about the drop at the Houston game. In my opinion, I thought it was a drop where he didn't get his feet in bounds.
That was on him.
That's on him. And there was a couple instances of that. Again, I just kind of keep going back to this vision of, put Stephon Diggs in these situations, get him 90 plus targets. I think you're going to see some different results. And I mean, this is a big play if you could get down into enemy territory that deep on a play that otherwise is it's just a 2-receiver set. It's a normal dig concept. It's not, at the end of the day, they weren't running rocket science. They had the 3 tight ends in there. Was there 2 tight ends?
2.
Yeah, 2 tight ends.
Doubling Watt.
Yeah, it's right. Well, I mean, you have to. But, I mean, this is traditionally looks like a run set. So, again, this is a big play that you don't end up getting in a game that points are pretty tough to come by.
And the other thing I want to point out, I broke something down earlier. I wasn't able to post it, but aggressive set by Morris. I'm sorry, Morris has been worth every penny. Watch this aggressive set versus this big defensive tackle. And he's getting bowled back right now. But watch
Hargraves?
No, it's McCullers, Daniel McCullers, 93. But look at the ankle flexion. Look at that bend in his knees. He's anchoring down versus this guy. I mean, he's hopping back. And yes, the pocket is pushed a little bit, but you see Josh Allen's eyes are downfield, which is great. But the flexibility for Mitch Morris as he's hopping back here to anchor and to refit his hands. Watch his hands working. Watch him try to keep his hands back inside. And it's a battle, man. And this is a big guy at nose tackle. I don't know his exact weight and height, but he's a big guy and, one of their big run stuffers. I just thought that was really nice and something that we saw a lot of from Morris last year.
That's a rip, though. That's a throw.
You got to catch this, man. Come on. All right, so 3rd and long here. Trying to remember what play this was here. Let's see. He just scrambles.
I think my biggest concern with Diggs is I just hope that they get some time to work together.
Yeah,
that's a great point, man. That's a great point.
But you know what? At least you're integrating a guy that knows NFL techniques, that knows NFL coaching. Whereas, if you're gonna stick around at 22 and pick, Justin Jefferson, or you're gonna pick Laviska Shenault, if you pick one of these rookies that I feel much better about if those two have a compressed time to work together to get a rapport. I'll feel better about that than I would a rookie receiver, like 100 times out of 100.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, and we know he's gonna be in shape. You guys have been seeing him working out. Jesus Christ, he's a maniac, dude. So okay, we got was it fourth down? They're actually going for it here. We have Singletary motioning out wide. He has a linebacker on him, so we see man coverage. My dog is getting sick in the background here. So now we have John Brown in the slot. It's something I think we're gonna see a lot more of.
Hope so.
In 2020 with Diggs in the fold here. So watch John Brown's route here. Right here to the bottom, you see the defender take outside leverage. He pushes him upfield, but when he gets to the top, when he gets right at the sticks, basically, he throws him by and breaks the sideline. The throw is right there for Johnny Brown there. So it's a really nice play.
It's another reason, too, why I think they may not be done adding, unless they like Duke. And they very much could say, you know what, at the end of the season last year, we really liked what Duke brought in the playoff game when he was featured in the offense. So maybe they say he's sort of the big body they bring back. But in sets like that, I totally agree. John Brown in the slot, the more you can do that next year, the more you can manufacture. I said this from the beginning. I thought the 2 guys that benefited the most from the Stephon Diggs pickup wasn't even Josh Allen. I thought it was Cole Beasley and John Brown, because I think more plays can be designed around them because they won't have to be, occupied with double teams really at all. I mean, you should never see John Brown with bracket coverage ever again. And that's such a huge thing for this offense because I think it opens up so many things.
Yeah, and this is one of those plays they're showing 4 rushers. Again, Williams is dropping out as a spy. I think I remember breaking this game down, and I think he spied Josh Allen like 8, 9, 10 times, something like that. But this is one of those plays. You always hear about it. But then when Allen executes, being a quarterback from the pocket, we want to keep him in the pocket. Well, guess what? They basically drop everyone out, rush 3. Really rush 2. They basically have 2 guys standing around doing nothing here. And Josh Allen is scanning the field, and he stands in the pocket, nice and calm, and delivers to his man who's one-on-one.
Yeah, I don't love that methodology either, because you do see a lot of teams do this where, especially if you're playing an athletic quarterback, where it's essentially you have 2 one-on-ones with your 2 edge rushers against your 2 tackles. But if you have a quarterback like Josh who can sneak away, I know it. But at the end of the day, if you get Josh Allen at the edge against any defensive tackle, I don't love that matchup for the defense,
Yeah, and it looks like, I think this is a linebacker. I think this is Chickalo. So this is not even one of their normal edge rushers. I think what they were trying to do is get Ford one-on-one, have Watt push him this way right to Chickalo here, whoever this linebacker is. But again, he stands in there and delivers. That's what you want to see, especially on a critical down. That was a good play by Josh. So 21 personnel, and this is it looks like an outside zone to Singletary, and his balance is ridiculous. Somehow it gets a couple on this one, but I mean,
it always looks like he's like in Bugs Bunny, or he's like trying to trip on marbles, and he somehow still ends up standing straight up and falling forward for 3 yards.
Yeah, like on this play, you lose him first of all. I mean, you lose him, you can't even see him, but he somehow laterally slides towards the boundary and is able to keep his balance, keeps bouncing off guys, and then gain some yards that way. But not too much on that play. It was a loaded box.
That happened a lot in the game broadcast. You lost Singletary a lot, and then he just pops out like, whoa, where'd he go?
Especially in this game with how big those defensive linemen are for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I remember this play too. So this was cool. Little design rollout left here, and then that throw was just ridiculous. So it's a little flood concept with Roberts and Beasley mainly playing the intermediate and short. But watch Beasley, guys. Watch Beasley set this up. It almost looks like these 2 defenders in the slot are pattern matching. So anything out will be taken by this corner. Anything in will be taken by this corner. But watch Beasley set this route up, and just a little return, little pivot route as Roberts kind of clears things out, and he's wide open. But I want to see the throw from the end zone angle, because this angle doesn't do it justice. And then you talk about this throwing to your left, and how his body is not even completely around, and it can't be because of the pressure he's seeing here. I mean, look at this throw. He's not coming downhill, right, Nate?
No, but that's the kind of throw where you're getting all of your hips into. That's the kind of throw where you can create the most velocity. So this is meant to be a simple 5-yard pattern, essentially, but the way that they do this, it ends up being almost like a 25, 30-yard throw, which is crazy, but it ends up being a really high level, super difficult. Not many guys can do it, but he's creating, as you're mentioning here, just an enormous amount of torque with his hips. You can really sling it in that kind of situation. That's where, like, when I used to throw a Hail Mary, that's how I would prefer to do it, rolled out to my left, because I could create the most torque with my body and really get it up there. But this is just a ridiculous nobody can really make this throw. He's got one hand on the ball. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, I like that point about just the torque, because it's almost like a rubber band. You see him wind that up right there. Look at his body. Look at the torsion that he created, that twisting. His lower body's in one direction, his upper body from the hips up is in another direction, and then he's just winding up and letting it roll. It's just a really nice throw by Josh on that one.
It's sick.
So again, there's that formation again with. Let me see here if I can go back a little bit. Oh, this was short yardage situation. All right. So I don't know why it was a problem this game, but Josh and his mesh concept, when they were running these zone reads or gives, like, he did not want to give it up. Nate, do you remember that?
He had a couple of times like that, and I hated running option. I ran option in high school. It's the worst thing ever. And this is an underrated part of how difficult the option or mesh or any sort of read option can be. Is this point right here is arguably the most important part. It's a lot of times you're going to see if they fumble that, or if it drops to the ground right there. This is such a difficult play, in my opinion, when you have a quarterback like Josh Allen who wants to pull it so much. Although, you have the opposite of quarterbacks. Like if it's Tom Brady sitting back there, he's never going to pull it. So the thing about this in this game, you're right, it was an issue a couple of times, but for whatever reason, I don't think it helps that in this play, I don't know who 79 is on that play. It doesn't help that he sort of looks like he immediately blows up the play, and I think Josh wants to pull it to sort of save Singletary from taking the immediate hit. Otherwise, like, his read I think is right initially. I think he probably should have pulled it automatically, but just based on look where the safety's leverage is, if Josh can get to the outside, I like his chances to get to the corner.
Yeah, I think the other thing that happened here is, I think Josh was intending on reading this guy right here, but you can see on the snap, it's a quick, he runs into, I think that's Croft right there. And so his read is like, okay, what am I doing here? Should I give it or should I keep it? I think that's his read. And this, you see Croft then go to the other, to the second level. I think that's a safety he's climbing to, but I think his read was kind of muddied there. But in that situation, even if he's getting blocked there, it should be a give. Let Singletary get it, and he does give it to him. He gets I think he got the first down, but I think it's one of those things. He was a little indecisive because of the way that the play unfolded there.
Yeah, when in doubt, give it out. In that play, you just want to give it to him and mitigate the damage because, as you mentioned, I think the defense kind of had that honed in pretty well. This is one of my favorite plays.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. We'll take a look at it from the tight camera angle here. So I always talk about Singletary and how, for some reason, he got light boxes. And I mean, look at this. This set puts basically 6 guys in the box. They run a draw. I want you to keep on an eye on this guy right here and how he jumps out into the flats there and sets this draw. They ran, I want to say 15, 16 draws last year, most to Singletary. They need to run more than that because this play with that guy, man, and you have a mobile quarterback, so they're going to be eyes on him. Yeah, and Mitch Morris that can get out there like this. I mean, you cannot run this play enough.
That's just sick. He's stupid in the field, man. In the open field, he's just it's ridiculous how it seems like defenders pop off of him being so small.
Yeah, and Morris, man, I can't stop watching him. And you see him, he gets to the spot. He beats that linebacker to the spot. And you see the linebacker trying to track the ball, trying to track Singletary there. And so he fast flows over the top of Morris, and Morris is like, all right, I'm just going to take him where he wants to go. And what does he do? He uses like a pry bar with his right arm. He just pries him by, opens that inside, blows him out of the way. And then Singletary just, how did he even see that guy? That type of reaction speed, that reactive athleticism that you always hear me talk about is just, that's uncanny right there. That's good stuff.
That's one of my favorite plays from that game.
Gotta love sprint draw.
Yeah, you can't run enough, man. I'm telling you. And this one was just too easy.
Like my tweet earlier. Imagine being upset about when they would run plays like this.
Seriously, and they honestly didn't call that many QB designed runs. I like this play because you got the 2 pullers. You got Dawkins right here, and I think Morse pulls here. But this is Mark Barron basically on the line of scrimmage. So yeah, wipe him out with the tight end, and then that's just too easy. If you're gonna leave a linebacker like Barron, who's really light, on the line of scrimmage in a 2-point, that's an easy down block for any tight end and in the touchdown there. So nice play.
Yeah, not many teams are pulling their center at the goal line. Let me just
right. Exactly, dude. This play is it's kind of like an RPO. It's more of just a tag, a run pass tag, where depending on the leverage of the corner out here, or if there's a flats defender underneath John Brown, you're gonna see Josh Allen just throw that. And you see it just a speed out. It's a predetermined throw, and you see Watts coming down the pike right here, basically unblocked, but easy yardage. This is I think they probably ran this just a handful of times, 5 to 7 times, not that much, but I remember the Jets game, they ran it a few times. Just easy yardage on first down. Now they're in 2nd and 2. And again, I talked about how they're kind of conservative on 2nd and 2, where you go on Twitter and you get to the analytics, you're gonna see, hey, 2nd and 2, you should be taking shots down the field. But when I think Dable being old, it's kind of old school, and maybe it comes from the top with McDermott and Bean, but they want to extend drives. They they get 2nd and short. They want to play conservative. They want to get the first down and extend that drive and give him opportunities. Was this another drop here? Oh, you caught that? All right. Just a little quick slant. So again, they're staying ahead of the chains here. That's good. 2nd and 3 now. 21 personnel. Roberts is in, and they're running it. Oh, this was a really good cutback by Singletary. I think this is another outside zone run. Take a look at it from here. And all they're doing with Roberts is you see Josh Allen point that safety out because he's on the fringe of the box there. So what they're doing is they're bringing in Roberts in closer so that when you see everybody zone block and you see Dawkins takes a really big bucket step. Why? That first step, you lose ground to gain ground. So he's working, to the play side here. He's working his zone steps, and you're going to have a hinge on the backside from Roberts there. That's why they do it, just to kind of cut the backside of that down. And Singletary just reads this perfectly. See him bounce outside right here, and I mean, it doesn't even look like he's going to cut it back either, right, Nate? And then all of a sudden, he feels this lane opening up right here, and he just hits it, cuts it back, bends it back to the middle, and gets positive yardage.
Spain has sneaky athleticism.
He does. I'm not a big fan of his balance.
Not all the time, but
not all the time, but he does. He's got some decent feet, and once it gets going, watch out.
Yeah, no, and I don't want to be the guy in front of him. And I mean, he's definitely not Mitch Morse, but I do like, and you do see a lot of instances of him getting out. He's not a bad athlete when he gets out. Listen, I mean, when you looked at what some of the other guys made of the market, he essentially took a hometown discount, signed before he got to free agency, and now he's like the 34th total paid offensive starting left guard in football. Yeah, that's just. I mean, he is a far better, good value player, and can really. He's good in pass blocking sets. He definitely isn't the best in run blocking, but
no, he's a
mauler though. He's a mauler.
When he came here, he's still known better as a pass blocker, but there are times where they just like big guards like him. They like to just those bear hugs we talk about. And yes, he's not always going to maintain his block, but he's going to cover him up for enough time to get a guy like Singletary through the hole most of the time. So this one just choreographed as a pass. If you look at where the ball's spotted, it's barely spotted at the 50. Look at the depth of Frank Gore. He's at 6 yards. Usually he's at, I want to say, 6.5. So he's cheating up a little bit, and look how tight. You can just tell just based on how close he is to the fullback here. This is an obvious pass, and here's the opening of the hip here, and the ball sails wide. This is all Allen, and he knows
all of it. Yep, all of it.
Yeah, he should be hitting those by now. Let's take a look at it from the tight camera angle. I mean, look at that. That's not good. Yeah. He's open right now. He's not transferring any of his weight from the right to the left. This is all arm across his body, and it's inaccurate.
That'll happen 7 times out of 10 with those mechanics.
That's not good.
I mean, he's open the whole way.
Yeah. So sets up 3rd and 8, 3-by-1 set. And it looks like the defense basically drops into cover 3 here. Safety's dropping down into the hole, and Josh sees it. He's trying to hit Beasley right there on the option route, but that one's blocked down. I think it's blocked down by, was that Hayward? I don't know if he's going to get the first anyways. I think that's Fitzpatrick closing on him, Minkah Fitzpatrick. He kind of hops. He kind of second guesses himself here too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's probably held
falls
that
away. Yeah, falls away.
Yeah, that's not good. So that drive was not good altogether. I mean, even some of the runs were ugly. Back to 21 personnel on the next drive. And some outside zone. It looks like DeMarco had a nice block there, but they only got a few yards on it. Let's see what we got here. So good job of DeMarco of reading Knox And you see him take over the block from Knox there, and Knox moves on, and then Singletary somehow squeaks in between those two blocks. Look at him corner that. That's nuts.
The guy's an animal.
Goodness. I don't know if you were here when we at the top when we started talking about Singletary. What's a good number for carries a game for Singletary in your book?
I'd say at minimum 15, right?
Yeah.
Like between 15 and 17 is probably my magic number. I'd like to get him every game, and I would probably like to get him at the 20 touch mark a game.
Yeah, I think that's where we're at, basically right at that 20 plus or minus touch as far as rushing, and then you're gonna get. I mean, you should probably get him the ball 4 to 6 times in the passing game, especially on some screens. This one's blown up. It looks like a little split flow, and they're just not able to cover up Bush right here because the nose tackle does a good job on Morse. He's not able to get across, pass him on to Feliciano and climb. So that's a tackle for loss on Singletary. 3rd and 8, going to empty set. They draw him off there? Yeah, it looked like they did. Yeah, that was offsides, right? Yeah, and Dupree.
Yeah.
All right, next play. Nice throw. See, now that is a good throw. I mean, that was right on the guy's gloves. 3rd down, almost like a little pick play with them playing man coverage. You see Beasley just kind of run a little interference right here. This guy has to work through that traffic, and this throw is really nice, right on the gloves. And Ross was able to turn and able to get upfield there for a 1st down. Kept the clock rolling though. Man, look at it caught my eye from the all-22. Look at Dawkins' explosion out of his kick stance here. Look at that.
You have to against Bud Dupree. I mean, this is a tough team to go against like at the edge. I mean, this is an athletic, really edge-heavy team. They're the opposite of the New York Jets.
Yeah, and on the other side, I just noticed, watch Ford's footwork. It's not good. When you're playing against TJ Watt, obviously, sometimes you're going to turn your shoulders quickly, but watch his feet. He crosses over right there. See him a little karaoke right there.
Total opposite of Dawkins. Opposite of Dawkins.
And that's the thing. Like,
look how shallow his first step is.
Yep. He no ground.
It is the exact opposite. And like when you watch it the snap, Dawkins goes back and Ford goes right. It's just a complete opposite. That's a great job by Dawkins. Just no depth at all. No depth.
I honestly thought that he started soon on that play, but that's how quick he was out of his stance. All right, so 21 looks like 21 personnel here, and Gore's in the game, so of course they're running. Ooh, he took a lick.
Ooh, he just keeps going.
So a little action across the formation with McKenzie, and he kind of turns outfield. This is stolen basically from Kyle Shanahan. He basically inserts as a blocker, but more of a gap run more than a zone run here. It's basically a counter tray. You have Spain pulling, DeMarco covering up the first color in the hole there, and then, right there. Who was that? Was that Barron or Bush? Boom. Bounced right off it, though. Gore bounced right off that big hit. Coming right here. Tough run by Gore on that one. That's the thing, man. I'm not big on the whole, we talk about it all the time, but I'm not big on finding a compliment to Singletary. I'm all about finding another good player. I don't care. I don't want a role player. I want a good running back.
He's just talking at 54 in general? Yeah,
I mean, just in general, whether it's, sometime on the second day, get one of those running backs that is, more of a dual purpose guy. I don't want I like Zach Moss, and I think he can add in the passing game too, but I just feel like you're just kind of limiting yourself too much. Get another guy that can, that one's high. Get another guy that can, do both. I don't want an AJ Dillon in the mid rounds who's just gonna be a downhill presence guy and then come out the field.
But at the same time, I see that's why Leonard Fournette is such an interesting name for me, because like he's kind of a downhill guy, but he also is such a great presence in the pass game. my whole thing this season, maybe more than any season, just with everything going on, I would rather be the team that spends a 5th-round pick and can get a guy that's on a 1 year. And I know that you don't want to pay a running back, but it's $4 million. He comes in off the street. He knows NFL offenses. I'm going to keep going back to that. If you're in a quote unquote Super Bowl window right now, like go get a guy like Leonard Fournette, where if you get an injury, because that's the other thing I think we haven't quite talked about yet, is what this might mean for the Bills. Were the healthiest team in football last year and maybe the last 2 seasons.
You
can't count on it. And especially this offseason where guys aren't going to be hit until training camp. They're not going to even be going up against other guys until training camp. So you're going to see an uptick in ACL injuries across the league this year, 100%.
Yeah, I like that point about, we don't know what the offseason is going to look like, and
make sure you have I think you need to make sure you need to have depth at running back. They don't have it now.
And that's what I mean by, not just getting a complimentary back, because a complimentary back, to me, the definition, by sense, is that a guy that has a role, and that's the way Bean talked about it, Frank Gore and Yeldon last year. That's the way a lot of GMs kind of constructed their running back room. I want a guy that if Singletary goes down, it's not Yeldon that is thrust into that running back 1 role. I want a guy number 2, just roll him out there, and he's just as good as Singletary. So
I agree.
I mean, I know that's probably not what's going to happen, but that's how I would construct it.
Yeah, you're saying don't go with CJ Spiller.
Exactly, man. And that's why, I've been a big Clyde Edwards-Helaire guy. I am a big Jonathan Taylor guy, because Taylor is kind of the best of both worlds. Like, maybe he doesn't offer as much in the passing game, but he is the best runner in between the tackles, and that's what the Bills need. They don't need a thumper. They need a guy that can run between the tackles, because Evan Bean said it himself. Singletary and Yeldon are more guys that get their explosive plays along the perimeter, and he does a nice job here on this play, to be honest. But I think Jonathan Taylor now.
I like Dobbins.
I'm not big on Dobbins' vision. That's the only thing that kills me. And vision is my thing. It's obviously what I look for the most in running backs. But I like Dobbins is a good inside runner. Don't get me wrong. He's good inside, but he played in a spread offense at Ohio State, and he saw a lot of green. Versus Taylor, he was running against a lot of stacked boxes in a pro-style offense, and a lot of it from the dot. So, I mean, I'll be happy with any of those top backs, to be honest, man. As long as it's someone that can carry the load, and Dobbins showed that last year. He can carry it when I think he broke 300 carries, or right there, he's like in the 290s or something. So, and he did it against good competition. But I just think he played in an offense that was a little more spread than I like for a guy that is going to be running between the tackles at the NFL level. He had a lot lighter boxes in that type of offense. This is a good run. Look at Lee Smith. So this is another. I mean, look at the box here. It's pretty stacked. They got
love the action though.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much going on, right? You got the jet action across, and look what that does. For a split second, look what that does to Bush right here. It holds him right there, and you see Singletary get out there, and so now Bush is picked up as he's coming down the line of scrimmage. He's picked up by the tight end there. Good job by Croft. I know a lot of people don't like Croft, but Croft was one of the better blocking tight ends in the league when he played last year. So good job of setting that edge there, setting that little alleyway. And you see, look at Morse, man. Look at him curl inside and get a piece of that guy. It's just pretty. It's
just so downhill.
Yeah, man. It's awesome.
It's so weird how he's flat. All of a sudden he's downhill. You just don't want to be the guy in front of that. Just a road grader.
It's funny because I'm on Mock Draftable a lot, especially this time of the year. And if you look a lot of tackles, when you search their measurables and stuff, you see Mitch Morse pop up a lot because he can play tackle. Basically, that's how athletic he is. Yeah. So here's obviously 12 personnel. This just looks like their duo concept, and on the spy looks like Morse gets shoved aside there, and Singletary's brought down. Smith about to get another fight. So at this point, guys, it's 1st and 10. It looks like it's 10-7. Steelers are up. We're in the third quarter. 10 minutes left in this quarter. So we got DeMarco splitting out wide here, and you can tell there's not much movement on the defense. So you assume it's some type of zone concept. It is. It looks like they're rolling to some sort of cover 3, and Josh throws it out to DeMarco for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why he throws that. I mean, he could hit probably Croft here. But again, look at Gore's alignment. It's pretty shallow. It's an obvious pass right there. I think it's right at 6 yards, but it's not really where you want to be throwing it to DeMarco out wide. I know he's done it a couple times, but not much to that play.
Yeah, I didn't love the play call either against that look.
So it's a little vanilla, a little too vanilla for me. Here's that pulling guard play again, and I don't even know what happened on this play. So it looks like they're running some type of post wheel concept. Kind of looks like the play. Here's Beasley right here. It kind of looks like the play they ran against the Giants. They caught him in cover 3, and Beasley got like a 50-yarder. Kind of looks similar to that, but this is
Roberts running the post here?
Yeah, it looks like he's supposed to be running the post here.
It's not a good pattern.
No, and he gets cut off. He lets that guy cut him off completely. Actually, maybe was he throwing that to Beasley? Maybe, because look where it drops. I don't know. I mean, I think that might have been to Beasley, but Beasley didn't continue with his route. But either way, I don't know why he doesn't take the easy money underneath. He hit it earlier in the game right here. I mean, he's staring it down maybe because the spy right here, or they
the spy ends up coming and ends up being the reason that disrupts the play. But you're right. I mean, if he gets it out quick, you're giving John Brown against a safety that's got to come over the top to make this play here. Like I know it's Micah Fitzpatrick, but give him an opportunity quick to try to outrun him with the edge.
Yeah, he should have thrown this. I mean, he's got him underneath here. He's got to throw that. But at least he throws it way downfield, out of reach. 3rd and 10, empty set. Oh, this was a beautiful throw. This was just ridiculous. Okay. Obviously, they set the formation to the field, so 3 to the bottom, 2 to the top. Chip by Singletary right here. And this throw, I mean, he's anticipating. Look, he's just the receiver's already just turning right now, and he threads it right on the hands of Brown. Really, really good throw. A really tough throw. Basically, you got a squatting corner, and this corner did a good job. Look at the spacing between the deeper route of Brown and then the spacing of the underneath route. And again, the corner's playing it smart. It's 3rd down. He's playing right at the sticks. The throw's just better. Yeah,
there's no good defense, or there's no defense for a perfect football in that position right there. 3rd and long. I mean, as a corner, as you mentioned, you can't really be in a better spot than that. He plays him perfectly in the middle. It's just a dime. It's just a dime. It's a little inside. I think if it's at the sideline, it's picked off.
Absolutely.
He throws it a little inside.
100% agree with that. I think that corner would probably at the very least get a piece of that, especially with the trajectory that he's got to throw that with into that, that honey hole there. I think
throws it behind him, sort of leads him. Perfect. He leads him back into the window.
Yeah, it's nice. And look, I mean, he's got such velocity on it. It's over the top of this defender right here. And I mean, good hands catch by Brown, snags it. And the Bills are on the move after that 3rd down conversion. That was one of his better throws of the game from what I remember. This is usually one of those zone run here. Oh, that was blocked up beautifully. Oh, that's right. He fumbled it. Is this the game he fumbled twice?
Yes. That's why we saw so much gore.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's take a look at this.
Oh, it's such a beautiful run too. Just a terrible play to fumble on.
Oh my God, get such good blocking here. They split the defense. I mean, these guys are working. Watch Feliciano widen that hole right there. He's into the open, and just that hell of a cut, man. That cut is ridiculous. And then Watt's coming in, just swatting, punching that out, honestly. I don't – but look at Singletary's eyes. Look at his helmet. I know you can't – he's looking up here. He knows this defender's coming, but he's still staying, keeping his eyes down the field. His pads are there. He's setting them up. And then the cut back was just ridiculous, man. But
he cuts right into danger, unfortunately.
He does. And that's something I do want to take a look at this offseason, this summer is, the fumbling issues between Josh Allen and Singletary. He got a few fumbles himself. Something I want to look at later this offseason, this summer. I mean, I'm sure we'll have time. So quads look to the top of the screen. It's funny because I think we were talking about this today. Who's that in the slot? That's Knox. So this is 11 personnel. So quad set, little action across. And of course, they ran that little pop pass, touch pass to McKenzie. Here's Josh with a little sidearm throw on a screen to Singletary. Not too bad, a little high, but not too bad. The thing with him is he has to always work on these throws of keeping his feet close to each other, because anytime he gets wide, you see it, his hips will open. But this one's not bad. He does a pretty good job right there.
Devin Bush.
Yeah.
Dawkins couldn't get to a point where he could seal him off. It's just an athletic linebacker. It's tough it's a tough ask for Deion Dawkins right there.
Yeah, and even Knox is kind of out leveraged too by that defender, but it's a different play. They didn't run that often, so I mean he went deep into the playbook for that one. So 6:43 of the third quarter now, and they're again in empty. Looks like Singletary is up top with Knox in the slot here. And there's really nothing. Looks like he was trying to work the top of the screen there. I think he wanted to go to Singletary here, to be honest. With Bush kind of expanding with the tight end, I think he was expecting some separation right here. Doesn't throw it. Ends up tucking and rolling. But look what empty does. Look at the middle of the field here. I mean, that's why you saw Dable run empty as much as he did last year. That's why you saw it even as much his first year in 2018 when Elam was playing a lot. Because depending on the weapons you have, you can in the coverage, you see pretty much too deep, and you see these linebackers have to kind of expand out and split the difference of these receivers and tight ends. It opens up the middle of the field, and that's when you're able to take advantage of Allen's scramble ability. And that's why I as much as he took a lot of heat, Dable did last year for his empty sets and how often he ran them. It's got to be in the playbook. It's got to.
No, I agree. Ugh.
Yeah, this is just ugly.
Yeah. This is where putting Devin Singletary in timeout. So we've got to play with Frank Gore out there. At this point in the season, Frank Gore really just, for me, in the offense, just kind of grinded to a halt when Frank Gore was on the field.
And that's what I'm talking about when it comes to Yeldon, man. Okay, so the offense was struggling with Gore in there. They were so predictable. Everyone saw it. I know the coaching staff saw it. And they still didn't play Yeldon. That, to me, screams something,
Yep, I agree.
That's why it's weird how out of his way Bean seemed to go to praise Yeldon.
Yeah. And
it seemed like more than just coach speak, instead of saying, yeah, we have confidence in him and then moving on. But, he kind of made a bigger deal out of it. But I still highly doubt he's on the roster week 1.
I think he'll be there. I think Bean was just doing his normal talk there when it comes to that and players. But I mean, the fact right now that they didn't bring in a guy to kind of compete as running back 2, they talked up Yeldon, which I think pretty much most people believe he's not running back 2. I don't want people want to believe he's a running back 2. I don't think he is, but I know it's something we always talk about, guys, in the Slack channel. But it's just one of the biggest needs right now. It's one of the biggest holes that Bean hasn't filled, and he typically does. He's filled every other depth position apparent hole that the Bills have. They have not done it with running back 2. So does it scream that Yeldon's that guy, or does it tell you that it's that big of a need that they're gonna wait and address it in the draft, and they don't have to cover it up because running backs devalued, and you're gonna get a good running back in that second, third round anyway. So this is a good run by Gore here inside though.
That's the only area he can do anything is between the tackles.
Like, look at that little 1-2 right here, 1-2, and then upfield. That's good blocking. Good job by
good down. Yeah.
Yeah, down. Yep, down blocks by Smith and Ford, putting the guy down there. Is this the one where they kept handing it to Gore? Yeah. I was waiting for Nate to freak out about this one because I know this one really bothered you. Another handoff here. Yeah.
One more for good measure.
Yeah. Ugh, it's painful.
Yeah, this frustrated me a lot.
It just, it felt to me, it's just like you're almost scared to score points,
Yeah, they did a good job of moving the ball. They got bailed out a couple times, and then they just got really conservative. And this was what, 3rd and 2 on this one.
I like the play call.
I mean, a lot of people say, with the zone read. This one again, I don't think he's actually even reading anyone though, because they block the end man on the line of scrimmage. But either way, I mean, it looks like he picked it up, right?
Yep.
So 1st and 10, we're at the top of the 4th, obviously, guys. 22 personnel with Gore in there. And he tries bouncing it. That's not your game, bud.
Making Joe Hayden look young.
Yeah. And this is when, I remember later in this game is when they started moving Watt around. They started using him as like a joker, kind of Jadeveon Clowney-esque. And that, kind of disrupted things. But look at Ford on this play. Whew! Just throws TJ Watt right here. Heck of a play. That was nice.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, if Hayden's making the tackle out wide, that's not a good sign. And again, they're keeping everyone in there. And this was a pass by Gore, right?
Christ.
This is not Dable's best set of plays here. Good Lord. I mean, he has decent timing for when he's calling trick plays, but
this wasn't one of them.
This wasn't one of them. No, man, that was ugly. So 3rd and 15. Oh, is this a drive where they were just like, oh no, that was a Texas game. Yeah, I was thinking the Texas game where JJ Watt this, JJ Watt that, but
no, it was TJ Watt this, TJ Watt that.
This is the play where he trips up Singletary on the draw here.
I don't love the draw call.
I don't mind it with where they're at, but it wasn't setting up good either way. I don't know how Watt got. It
was a bad drive. I did the end of that drive was very frustrating.
Yeah, I agree, man. It was. So on to the next drive. Looks like 21 personnel. Shot call. Oh, is this the one with the music where they're coming out in the 4th quarter?
So.
Yes.
Yeah, this was
Renegade.
Yeah, Renegade.
If they'll ever keep playing that song now.
That's funny, man.
You shut it down. Your song's done.
Yep, that's a wrap. And this, I mean, to be honest, Josh probably shouldn't have been throwing this, but I mean,
I'm fine with him throwing it.
Yeah.
But I would have liked him to lead him a little. He makes it a contested throw, which, there were times last season that I would have liked to see him make it a contested throw on some of those deep shots. This is one where I think if you could just let John Brown go run underneath it towards the sideline and let him fall away, that'd be where I'd want him to put it. But you're right. I mean, that's a sketchy throw or a sketchy decision. But I mean, the safety's totally out of play. Nick Fitzpatrick's getting nowhere close to that. So it's
And the reason I didn't like it is right here. Brown he's pretty much at full speed. And he's hand fighting with this player, and he creates some separation. If Josh leads him, like you said, a little more towards the sideline, a little more out in front, I think John Brown catches this and is still, is running, but he underthrows it, and, John Brown adjusts here. But when I let it play, watch the separation that John Brown is creating right there. See, and he had to let up because the ball's in the air and he has to come back for it. Good adjustment by Brown, but I think Allen, if he would have let him out there a little more, it would have been better. But again, insert Diggs into a play like this, and I think he's bringing that down as well. And who knows, what he does at the catch point, because he's the type of guy that is going to go up and get the ball and then, keep his balance. He's got a little more better body control than John Brown does.
It looked like J.A. walked up the line of scrimmage, when he was throwing that ball.
Hands down. I mean, they practiced it right all week. And look, they went right back to it again. Just, deep routes on the outside. But this is where, I know we got to have those Smurfs. You got to have those receivers that separate with speed. But, sometimes you want that, 50-50 ball to be more of that 80-20. So having, a bigger target that can, create these jump balls and win them more times than not. Throwing jump balls to John Brown is more 50-50 than it is 80-20.
Mm-hmm. It'll be fun to see more of those, though.
Yeah, hands down. So look, they ran this play several times with Gore, but look at how much better it looks with Singletary in there. He doesn't waste any time
because there's capability of getting to the outside on that play.
Yeah.
Instead of everything getting cut towards the middle.
And again, Quentin Spain pulling. Look at he's nimble, but watch what he does to Bush here. He's not overly aggressive with this guy. All he does is get positional leverage right here, get that outside half, and seal him inside. And then Singletary's bouncing outside. There's no way that I think he's a depth linebacker, Vince Williams right here. He's not a guy that's usually good at playing off the ball. He's usually their spy guy. That's usually what he does. His role is to play that fourth, defensive lineman and drop into the underneath area. He's not a scraper across the formation like that, and Singletary easily breaks that tackle. It's 21 personnel. Looks like Beasley and Brown are in there. Is this where he fumbles again? Yes. So it was a good cutback. I like the cutback. This obviously, we saw this play several times, outside zone from 21. The receiver on the backside, obviously hinging back. And then, man, Bud Dupree came fast down the line of scrimmage there. But how does Singletary even see this guy?
I don't even know.
He's behind him. What the hell? Oh, my God. The step back is just redonkulous.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. that's
but then
man.
Here comes the punch and the ball comes out. That was nuts. I'm excited for Singletary, man. I'm excited to see what he can do with a lot more carries, and there's no more
a year under his belt too.
Yeah, and no more having to sit behind a Hall of Famer and a fringe Hall of Famer. Like, none of that anymore. Okay, you did that. You learned from those guys. Now it's your time. Carry the torch. Another batted pass. This one looks like he kind of just double clutch. He wanted to throw it right there. You see him separate his hand off the ball to throw it. And then, look at Watt. Again, they're moving him all over, and that's him like right in, in the passing lane with Alou. Watt's a good player, man. I don't think he gets enough credit. I know he's got his brother, the name and everything, but I still think he's better than what he's given credit for. Trips bunch to the bottom. Looks like some type. Oh yeah, this is a nice. So this looked like a blown coverage. I think Barron. It's a high-low. So basically what the Bills like to do, and you see New England run this all the time, they'll run their tight end on basically some type of choice route, whether a corner or a post, depending on the coverage. And then the option route is by Singletary. He usually comes up here, and based on the leverage of that defender that's in that hook to curl area, he can break it inside. He can break it outward here. And you see what happens here is Barron drops the tight end here. And I think this safety right here to the top was expecting Barron to carry it, and he doesn't. And Josh is on the money on this throw. Good read by him.
Yeah, Edmonds had no shot at getting over the top of that.
No. And it looks like, Croft, he bends it a little flatter. He doesn't go like to the back pylon. He kind of bends a little flatter. And then Josh's throw is right in that same area, and just a really good throw. Cody Ford was really excited on that play. So was Croft. I think after the game they were talking about how excited they were for Croft and what he's been through. And I think that was like a big moment for him, obviously. But look at the eyes of Josh Allen here. Left to right, no problem. TJ Watt's coming fast off the edge there. Nice little cross chop, manipulates his stride. But
play.
Josh he's unflappable on this play. He is really good. Steps up and then delivers that throw to Croft. That was a really nice play from top to bottom, and good job of Ford getting a piece of him and riding him wide there, because that was a difference maker. That was huge. Yeah, that was a better set by Ford, Mike. Much better. Good diagnosis for that, that speed rush up the field and that from that wide alignment.
God.
Here we go. All right, so, yeah, there's a lot of congestion there. Let's see what happened. Looks like we get a down block from Lee Smith right here. They're trying to, they're trying to get the guys along the perimeter, but it looks like Feliciano gets hung up on Ford. This guy sets the edge really nicely, so Singletary tries cutting it back and then just right into the black jerseys. So we're halfway through the fourth now. 21 personnel. Yeah, they're just trying to burn some clock a little bit right now. Looks like Williams comes over the top and makes that. Not too much on that play. 3rd and 10, Bills up 7.
Might as well punt it.
12 personnel. Why? You don't want Lee Smith and Croft staying in the block?
No. Might as well punt it.
I mean,
Allen makes a good play at almost getting it,
but this is a 2-man route. It's a high-low smash concept to the bottom
against 6
everybody.
In coverage. Yeah,
yeah, against everybody. Yeah.
Lordy.
Yeah, I mean, this is not that good of a design. I mean, you're not really giving your guy, you're not giving Allen much to work with here.
Should have just quick kicked.
Probably, Josh might have he might have a good leg on him too. He might do better than
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it at all.
He's good at everything, so I mean.
This is where they put Frank Gore back out there, right?
Oh yeah. Yep, and Watt's right in the A gap. He's like, it's almost like he knows the play that's coming.
I know.
And he totally congested that, and you got, I think the 34 is a safety just coming down and making a play.
Bill Edmonds.
Yep. So 2nd and 6. 149. So 149 on the clock. Bills are up 7. So yeah, they're just trying to run it out now. 22 personnel. Yeah, I don't think they do too much on the rest of these drives, right? Because then they turn the ball back over to Ducky Hodges, who's better than Josh Allen, and the Bills get a couple picks, right?
Forever and always, yeah.
The PFF, I love how PFF Sam Monson was like, yeah, we were wrong about that. Whoever shot that opinion about Duck Hodges being better than Josh Allen, yeah, they were obviously wrong about that one.
Yeah,
great.
He distanced himself from that one pretty.
Yeah, he did, right? So that's
he was like, yeah, some intern. I don't know, some intern did that one.
He's no longer with us.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they didn't even name him either. That's the other funny thing. But, all right, guys. Well, that was fun. Nate, dude, I'm glad you joined us, man. That was a good time. I do want to thank everyone for joining us. We're gonna do this more. I definitely want to have you guys join us a little more, especially during this quarantine time. Who knows when that's going to end. We got to see Nate's mustache tonight, which was phenomenal. How long are you keeping that, buddy?
I think it's a permanent fixture, but I think it might be here to stay.
What does your wife have to say about that, though?
She's comfortable with it.
Is she? Comfortable is an odd word to use, right?
She doesn't. Yeah. How about this? She doesn't feel uncomfortable with it.
Okay. All right.
It doesn't keep her up at night.
Good. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us in this film room. Again, we're gonna do this again. I obviously have a bunch of the games, so if we want to do that, we want to look at prospects. We can do that. Just send your suggestions in to us. Join us in the Slack channel, obviously, and thanks for joining us in this film room. See you guys.
Take care, guys.